I've tested dim IPS panels. I've tested glossy, mirror-like OLEDs. I love matte screens, but they often feel so washed out. I even had a matte screen protector on my Steam Deck OLED, but I remember the sharpness and vibrancy coming back the immediate second I pulled it off. So when UPerfect reached out about this, their first mini LED monitor, I was really skeptical. The spec sheet claimed 1500 nits. This led me to the one big question for my entire review. Is this the solution? Is this the panel that lets you see your games in a bright, sunlit room, or is it just a compromised piece of tech? But I can promise you that this monitor, the UPerfect M1, has a very significant relationship with light, in that it produces a hell of a lot of it. So let's hop in. I've spent the last 3 weeks with this, and this thing is not what I thought it would be. It's a remarkable piece of tech, but it has a key power trade-off. And the entire philosophy of mini LED is definitely something that you need to understand. Just the standard disclaimer, UPerfect did send me this UColor M1 to take a look at. As always, they have zero input into my video. They're not seeing this before it goes live, and all opinions, tests, critiques, and nitpicks are entirely 100% my own. So before we even talk about the monitor, I have to talk to you about what mini LED actually means, because it's the most important part of this review, and it's not what you think. When you think of a mini LED, you probably think of a high-end TV. A mini LED panel uses thousands of smaller, more efficient LEDs in its backlight. Most companies like TCL use this for local dimming. They group those LEDs into small zones that can be completely turned off independently. This gives you much better black levels than a standard LCD. But it also creates an ugly, distracting bloom or halo effect around some bright objects. I've even seen this on one handheld, the Odin 2 Mini. Even the best mini LEDs can't come close to per pixel perfection of an OLED. Here's the twist. The UColor M1 doesn't do that. It doesn't have any local dimming. UPerfect made a choice. Instead of chasing near OLED blacks and dealing with the bloom, they essentially use that powerful, efficient mini LED backlight as one giant, uniform light cannon. This is the balance that they went for. They went for maximum brightness and the richer colors that come with mini LED panel tech. But they completely mitigated the bloom. So this is good and bad news. The bad news is you're not getting deep, inky blacks of an OLED or local dimming monitor. The good news is you're getting zero blooming, no halos, a perfect, clean, uniform image. Keep in mind that this is a high brightness, high vibrancy panel, not a high contrast one. So let's get the spec sheet out of the way. The UColor M1 is a 14-inch mini LED panel. The resolution is 2560 by 1600. That's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, which is fantastic for both gaming and productivity. The refresh rate is only 60 Hz, but it does have AMD FreeSync. This is a perfect pairing for handhelds. The brightness is claimed at 1500 nits. It's 100% of the sRGB, and it's an 8-bit panel. It's got a built-in stand, VESA mounts, and two 1-watt stereo speakers. The price is currently $369 but I've seen it consistently for $299. For about $150, you can get a pretty standard 15.6-inch 1080p 60Hz IPS panel. They're bigger, but they're much dimmer, and the colors are more mediocre, and the stand on those is usually a terrible, flimsy folio cover. But for $299, you have this. It's a smaller, sharper, 2K screen and ludicrously bright. For about $300, you have the O2, which I've already reviewed. The 16-inch OLED, it's got perfect blacks, a faster 120Hz panel, and a wider DCI P3 color gamut. But its brightness is only 500 nits. So the M1 isn't trying to beat the OLED on contrast or speed, it's creating its own category, the high brightness, bloom-free option. So let's brighten up the lights and talk a little bit more about this screen. In the box, you get 2 USB-C cables and a mini HDMI cable. You also get a compact 30-watt USB-C charger. And of course, you get the monitor itself. And the weirdest thing, my immediate gut reaction is that this monitor feels extremely cheap. The back feels really hollow, and I'm not even kidding, this thing only weighs just over a pound. My brain has kind of associated weight with premium for so long that this just feels tough to get over. That being said, it's a total illusion. The entire chassis is cold to the touch aluminum. There's absolutely zero flex to this body, but it does pick up a lot of fingerprints since it's metal. In the hands, it kind of feels like a toy, but the build quality says premium. It's premium for a backpack, but man, you have to get over that hollow feeling every single time you pick it up. So let's do a quick tour of the screen itself. On the left side, you have 2 USB-C ports for video input and power, as well as an HDMI port. On the other side, you get the power button and a little volume rocker. This is what you use to navigate through the different menus. This works, it's functional, but honestly, this is one of my main nitpicks about these screens. I really wish we got a proper, modern joystick like the ones we see on so many monitors. You get so much more control that way. These are of course on much more expensive screens, so I can't really be too picky. But this little rocker definitely feels a bit dated. I'd love to see them upgrade this in the next iteration. Now let's talk about my favorite and least favorite part of the physical design, and that's the stand. It's a full metal kickstand, kind of like you see on the Microsoft Surface. It's stable, robust, and it has a full 180-degree range of motion. This is something that won't collapse on you. However, the stand is incredibly stiff. I feel like I'm going to bend the screen every single time I try to use this. You really have to fight this thing. It's the ultimate pro and con. It's solid as a rock. I'd rather have this than a flimsy folio cover, but man, I really wish they eased up on the tension. This thing is really difficult to use. That being said, you do have a standard VESA mount on the back. It's a 75 by 75mm VESA mount, so if you hate the stand, you can just mount it to an arm. Pretty fantastic. You can power this off a single USB-C port, but you can only go up to about 30% brightness. So let's take a look at the menu. At the top of your menu, you of course have the standard view mode. You have your picture settings, the color effect, and the information. You can also reset the settings here too. Under the advanced menu, we have Ultra HDR mode, which I found kind of useless. There's an eye protection setting, 3D sound, and FreeSync. You can also change your volume and the aspect ratio here. By default, it's set to automatic. And of course, the color temperature. You can even adjust where the on-screen display is. It's a solid B- on-screen display. It's functional, but that rocker makes the experience a little bit clunky. So let's talk about the image. The first thing I noticed, it's obviously a matte screen. Normally, it's a trade-off. You get less glare, but the colors look a little bit more washed out, and the screen is just ever so slightly more dim. This has been true for every single matte device or screen that I've owned. This is a complete 180 from what I'm used to. It's anti-reflective, but it's still incredibly sharp and vibrant. The 100% sRGB coverage means colors just pop. Just look how vibrant these colors look. You don't have to choose. It's bright, colorful, and it's anti-reflective. Even under bright lights, the brightness here is just on another level entirely. 1500 nits is no joke. It's blinding in a dark room. It cuts through glare like nothing I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I can't get HDR working. Tried on a few different devices, but it just doesn't show. At 100% brightness, for a mini LED screen, this thing looks incredible. Even with dark lights, blacks are pretty decent. A lot better than some IPS panels I've seen, but nowhere close to OLED. It produces quite vivid and bright colors. If you're looking for a bright monitor to handle a lot of glare, I think you'll be really impressed with this one. In a pitch black room, the OLED is going to win. It's not even a contest. In a bright, sunny room, the Mini LED is going to demolish the OLED. It's not even a fair fight. The M1's 1500 nits and matte screen coating is going to cut through that glare. Even for speed and motion, OLED is going to win every time. The OLED that I reviewed a little while ago is a much faster pixel response, plus it's 120 Hz. For image clarity, I'm going to give it to the Mini LED. It produces a very bright, uninterrupted image. Even for handheld gaming. Why? Because most handhelds are struggling to hit 60 FPS. The 120 Hz on the OLED is often wasted, and it doesn't come with FreeSync. The M1's 60 Hz with FreeSync is a perfect performance target, and its superior brightness and matte bloom-free screen make it usable in most situations. So who is this screen for? Here's my final recommendation. If you only play in a pitch black bat cave, get the OLED. If your only priority is a single cable solution for your handheld, this is not the one you want to get. You need 2 cables to get this screen's unlocked full potential. If you're a competitive, high refresh rate gamer, get the 120 Hz OLED. If you're like me and that ultralight hollow feeling is a real mental hurdle, or if you just really hate that dated on-screen display rocker. So who is this screen perfect for? If you're a handheld gamer that plays in varied lighting conditions like a living room, an office, a train, or even a hotel. If you value peak brightness and a good anti-glare screen, and a bloom-free image more than you value perfect black levels. If you want a screen that's a perfect match at 60 Hz with FreeSync for devices like the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. It directly solves the problem of glare, and it smartly avoids the bloom issues of Mini LEDs entirely. For my money and for how I play games, the M1 is pretty practical. It's very versatile and more useful than a lot of other displays, especially if you can find this on a sale price of $299. It's an easy recommendation. That's my take. What do you think? Is the 2 cable requirement a total deal breaker? What about their choice to ditch local dimming zones to get rid of that bloom? And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.